makes sense. I need to go back and watch it.
It was
I
actually
haven't
good.
watched it.
It was actually a good one.
Was it? I've missed the last basically everything since Mania.
Lazy stuff. They've just been lazy. Backlash on Saturday.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on
Randy Orton and John Cena.
That'll be fun.
Back from my childhood. Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, internet world, West Alabama. How are we doing today on this Wednesday? I hope you and yours are doing well. It is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. I hope you guys are having a great day. We are going to have a great day. We're live here in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios, right here off of McFarland Boulevard in Northport, just past the Tiger Rock. On the left. You can call Derek and his team at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. We're here with Mason Woods. You follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. We appreciate all of his great work. And we are going to have, hopefully, a good show today, starting a summer project. What? We're actually going to have some organization on this show. Ho-ho! Can't get too crazy now, Mason. We're going to have a little fun today, starting a summer project, Know Your Enemy. We have how many days? Let me go to roll call and find out. How many days now, Mason Woods? I wrote roll call last night, so I should know it. I think it's 118 is what I wrote. Bama Central. Did I write 118 or 117 days away from Alabama kicking off?
Drum roll.
Oh, gosh. I know I posted it. Did I not put it in the right place? No, I did post it right there. Bam, right there. It is 115. Ooh. 3 days behind. 115 days from kicking off. So it's time to really get ready for football season. And we want to do that today. We want to do 2-3 different things. First, we want to look at Texas. We want to look at the Texas Longhorns, and we want to talk about why the Texas Longhorns are the team to beat, or Mason may not think so, the team to beat in SEC in 2025. We want to talk about what they brought back, what they got in the transfer portal, what they lost, maybe a little bit of what they lost, 12 draft picks, 12 picks to the NFL draft, and then really everything that they're dealing with. We want to look at Texas's schedule and just kind of talk about the Longhorns next week. I'll let Mason pick the team for next week at the end. So you can think about that. You got, 13 others, 15 minus 1 is 14 other schools to pick from. So you can think about that. You can reveal that at the end of the show, who we're going to preview next week. But I want to talk about Texas. I want to revisit the Notre Dame and Clemson news from yesterday and kind of tie it into create an Alabama conversation around it. And if there is any more time left on today's program, I want to revisit Dax's phone call from yesterday, Dax's voicemail from yesterday, where he talked about Nick Saban players that he wishes, that we all wish, would have done a little bit more in the NFL. So that's the roadmap for today. You guys can jump on and join the plan. We will get there about an hour and 10 minutes. We'll be at our destination. Call us on the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. Leave us a comment at Joe Gaither 6, at Bama Central, at MAWoods_. And let's get right into it. Mason, good morning. How we doing? How's your day going?
Oh, I'm doing good this morning. I had a bit of a slow start this morning. It was it's a little tough getting out of bed. That weather last night. I don't know if
I lost power.
Yeah. Okay. So you were part of the power outages. I noticed that I saw the news story this morning that saw some people were losing it, but I fortunately was able to keep power. But yeah, slept like a baby last night because of all those storms and really did not want to get up this morning. But no, I'm here. I'm ready to get into it. I'm sitting here, didn't really have anything we're going to talk about today, so I figured I'll throw it out now. I'm sitting here just scrolling Twitter before we get started here, and looks as if Benjamin Russell is starting off some summer practices today, and that's where our friend Cedarian Morgan is. And wow, this is a very quick clip, and obviously he's in high school, so he is the best guy out there on the field. But it is just insane how different he looks compared to the rest of his team here. I'm just looking at him. He is a head taller than everyone else on the field. He moves extremely fluid. He, dare I say, looks a lot like Julio Jones physically.
Cedarian Morgan. Goodness gracious, that would be so much fun to get the Kalen DeBoer version. I mean, I guess we already have a Kalen DeBoer version when Derek Meadows, but we just want an army of these 6'4", these 6'6", these 6'5", these weird tall. And like, if you look on the other side, you remember how Nick Saban used to always, you didn't hear it a lot, but when you asked Nick Saban about his recruiting philosophy, he would tell you, or he would kind of outline, we've got measurables for certain positions, and we want guys to have X amount of arm length and Y amount of height and this sort of thing. It's very clear. I mean, the receiver cornerback prototype that the Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack crew is looking for is just alien.
Yep.
Like whatever it is, alien is as tall, as long. Like your arms aren't long enough. You're not tall enough. Like you can get taller. Put them on the rack. Put them on the torture rack. Stretch their butts out, and get them as tall and long as possible. 6'4" for Sedarian Morgan. Now, okay, you can help me with this. What's 24/7 doing here? I'm on 24/7 Sports looking at his page. You got the composite where he's listed as a 5-star. Number 1 player in Alabama, number 3 wide receiver, number 14 player overall by the composite. We know the composite takes conglomerate from all the recruiting sites. Yeah. Right. But why is he on 24/7 specific site listed as a 4-star player when this is what doesn't make, I don't care. You can rate him whatever you want to, but these two metrics don't add up. You list him as the number 1 player in Alabama. That's fine. Every player in Alabama may not be that great. They can all be 4 stars or lower. Okay, cool. You list him as the number 2 wide receiver in the class. Okay, maybe this year's a bad class for wide receivers. All right. But you list him as the 16th best player in the whole class, not just wide receiver, in the whole class. Yeah. So correct me, Mason, but I thought 5 stars meant the first 32 players. That was to correlate the NFL draft. It's basically a play on the NFL draft. These 30-something players in this class are to correlate with the first round pick. So if you're the 16th best player in your class, shouldn't I'm sorry.
Typically, as I understand it, that is how it goes. I think that maybe this is just it's just because it's class of 26. Everything is still early.
Is it still early? I mean, we're enrolling. I mean, in 25's enrolled.
It's not early if you're talking to, Kalen DeBoer and the rest of the football staff there. But as far, we're still seeing
we're knee deep in that cycle now.
Every week, every other week, you see 247 On 3 Rivals do their updated rankings. Okay. And that's when, we have 3 new 5-stars this week. We have, this. And, I would imagine that by maybe by the end of the summer or so, they've got their full crop of 5-stars figured out.
So you're telling me that this is just a media game that they're playing with me so that when Sedarian Morgan gets bumped to a 5-star, actually they're playing with you because when Sedarian Morgan gets bumped to a 5-star, Mason Woods goes to BamaCentral.com. It says, Bama target, Sedarian Morgan gets added 5th star, and you have 5 minutes of work to do.
It's the NFL. It's the announcement of the announcement of the announcement. Confusing to me as well. Okay. 5-star player, 5-star talent should be a 5-star talent by every measurable metric you have. Very, very, very good. Now, again, I've seen his highlights. I've not gone to see him play, which.
How far away is Benjamin Russell?
Yeah, let's see.
You're from parts unknown Alabama. You should know where Alexander City is. This is not my native state. Let's see. Alexander City is 95 miles away. It is. It's towards Columbus. It's towards Columbus. It's toward Montgomery. All right, so that would not be a very difficult trip, really, if we can figure out a date, a Friday night. Oh, hey, Sedarian. How we doing, brother? yeah. That might be in the works this fall. All right, Mason. We love the recruiting updates. Did you? Hey, I shouted you out. I clipped up your recruiting update and I put it in the Voltex yesterday.
Oh, love that.
Yeah. So
appreciate that.
I noticed that Will Miller's face was on the Texas Longhorns page today from his Troy baseball. Troy, they drove down to Troy and watched Alabama baseball win yesterday, 10-2. Took care of business. Oh, and speaking of diamond sports, the ladies handling the Auburn Tigers 3-2 in the opening round of the SEC tournament. They sure had to make it stressful. I'm glad that I'm not living and dying on every pitch. I'll just say that because they
don't make it easy for those folks. Those diehards, I respect you because they've not made it easy on you.
They're playing South Carolina tonight at 7 o'clock on SEC Network, and obviously you know that is SEC tournament time, so that could be 7 o'clock. It could be 9:30. It could be 6:15. Basically, it's tournament time. They're going to run them 25 minutes after the previous game. So they're starting, I think, at 11 today, a full 4-game slate in Athens. But our ladies are playing at 7 o'clock against South Carolina. And I know Katie Wyndham, Hunter DeCiver, I volunteered as a pinch hitter. And they said, we'll let you know. We got this. You can go leave your bat in the dugout, Joe.
They've heard us talking about softball on the show, and they're like, you know what? I don't think we need the extra help.
Oh, that's exactly right. All right, Mason, let's dive into football here because we want to, have a little structure on the program over the next handful of Wednesdays or so. Let's count them out here just to be real funny. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is perfect. 12, 13 Wednesdays. All right. Don't we open on like the August 26th, August 30th? Oh no, that's July 13, 14. This is even better. 14, 15, 16, 17 Wednesdays. Yeah, the first game's August 30th. Yeah. All right. So 17 Wednesdays between now and August 30. Perfect. That'll give us all 15 SEC opponents, and we'll throw 1 or 2 bonus in there, maybe a Wisconsin and Florida State, probably. Sorry, Eastern Illinois, you're not going to make the cut.
Oh, I don't know, though. They got a feisty squad this year, I've heard.
You're not going to do a deep dive on the Panthers?
I'm glad you said that because I did not even know what their mascot was.
Well, I only knew that because I said it yesterday on the show when we were looking at the schedule. I have no idea what they were, but we were looking at that little FBS schedules thing, and it said Panthers. I was like,
where's that game coming from? Is that a Kalen DeBoer connection there? He called somebody up and was like, hey, we need to.
I'm gonna bet that's been baked in for the last 8 years.
Yeah, maybe it has. It just came out of nowhere. Eastern Illinois. It's not one we're used to. It's a new nobody on the schedule.
Yeah, Nick Saban liked San Jose State.
Yeah, we like San Jose State. I guess South Florida hasn't really. They've kind of answered the call.
Nobody.
Recently.
They're not the nobody's quite types like the Eastern Illinois.
Western Carolina. That was another good one.
Yes, Coach Saban loved Western Carolina. Loves him some Western Kentucky too. Georgia Southern twice, right? UT Chattanooga twice, 2 or 3 times. Mercer a couple times as well.
Yeah, Mercer. Oh.
If we never play those games again, it'll be praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
We'll have some good replacements when we get to that part of the show.
There needs to be a rule in place of like if you play those games, like a snap count for scholarship players. Like you're only allowed to use your scholarship players for 30 snaps or what, something of the sort. And then you're gonna
if you play that game, you can't count it as a win on your resume, but if you lose, it counts as a loss.
Yes, I love that too. I love that. You're gonna end up having Ty Simpson swap jerseys middle. hey, Cade, Octor, give me your jersey, Cade.
Oh, man.
And like we both have the same complexion. They'll never know.
Yeah, they just got to put the same accessories on. Nobody would be none the wiser. Just keep that helmet on, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Get him a dark visor, maybe.
Right, perfect. We love it. All right, so we're here to talk about Texas. That's what we want to do. Know thy enemy. And first up, maybe by default or maybe because they are the favorite in the SEC.
Are they?
Yes.
It's not Georgia who actually won the SEC last year.
No.
In my opinion, you have to beat the champ to be the champ.
Okay, so that's another concept that I hate. Oh, last year's number one is number one until they're better, until they're ever beaten. It's like,
I mean, Texas had the opportunity to beat them. They didn't.
Okay, yeah, last year's in vacuum. Where everybody loses talent.
I'm saying, man. I'm riding with Georgia Bulldogs until I see something different.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't trust Sark and his soft football ways.
His soft football ways. I just got done listening to him talk to Josh Pate. They had his next up on the Pate State Speaker Series, and Sark says we're not soft. Sark says we're accountable. We have everybody go into class.
Tell me otherwise, Steve.
We're going to class. We're, keeping everybody accountable to the little things. We're doing workouts. Or it doesn't matter that everybody's getting paid more than me.
I'm Texas. You're soft, and you're soft until you prove otherwise.
What's it going to take to prove otherwise?
You have to win.
They've been to 2 college football. You got to
win the title.
The only team that's gone back-to-back to college football playoff appearances in the last 2 years made it to the national title game 2 years ago. So it's championship or nothing.
I mean, you got to win.
It's championship or you're soft.
Yeah. If for Texas, yes.
There's no, they're getting better. I mean,
they've done nothing.
They're 5-7 when he takes over. 5-7.
And Quinn Ewers chose them.
Oh my God. That line did crack me up. Sorry.
Quinn Ewers in his heart, he knew he was a Texas Longhorn from the day he was born. Well, he was born to wear that burnt orange and white.
Well, that was a funny concept because he essentially says that in a more button-up way. And he goes, we're so grateful for Quinn Ewers for choosing us when we were 5-7. And I'm like to myself, two things. Sorry. First, since Quinn Ewers was a freshman in high school, it was this kid's going to go to Texas. Okay, we heard that. So there's a little, he was always going to choose you whether you're 5-7 or not. But, brother, what did you pay for him to come out of the transfer portal from Ohio State to go to Texas? Like, he enrolled in Ohio State early so that he could get NIL because of the Texas high school laws. You couldn't get NIL. He had that $1 million kombucha deal at Ohio State. Yeah. And then transfers. Like, everybody knew you're just going to Ohio State. Your 5-7 record didn't matter at all. No. It's the money. It's the fact that he was already there. It's the fact that he already loved Texas. And the money, and the money, and the money, and the money, and the money. All right, so they started 5-7, and you've had steady improvement. You've had great. You won the Big 12 on your last year out.
Softest conference in the country.
You got to the SEC title game your first year in the league,
and what was widely referred to as like the worst year for the SEC in a while.
Was it?
No, I don't know. I'm just poking at you.
Okay, all right, yeah, you're doing a good job though. You get to the Big 10. You win the Big 12. You get to the SEC title game. You lose to Georgia. Mm-hmm. I guess there's your kicker, Joe. You lose to Georgia, period. Shut up. Okay.
This is where I'm at.
You go in, you welcome Dabo, and Dabo plays with you guys for a half, and then you end up going, did they lose to Notre Dame or Ohio State?
Ohio State, I think.
Or Oregon.
I think it was Ohio State.
I think it was
Ohio State beat them handily, too.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Just flip. I've got so many tabs open with tabs.
I have to look Ohio State, Texas up, and everything is this.
No. I've got the right tab right here. They lost to Ohio State 28-14.
Oh, not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, they beat Clemson.
That game.
They beat Clemson, Arizona State. Yeah, there you go.
If I recall that game though against Ohio State, it was one of those where it was pretty obvious the entire time this is Ohio State's game. Maybe
wasn't that the Jack Sawyer? We're running away with a fumble, 60-something yard fumble.
Yeah,
they were up like 21-7.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody was beating that Ohio State team last year, as much as it pains me to admit that was the best team in college football. So, you did lose to the best. I'll give you that, Texas. I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what Steve Sarkisian is selling. He's been selling it for far too long at this point, and you got nothing to show for it. You got no trophies in that case. None that mean anything.
Mason Woods, why have you forgotten about what Steve Sarkisian did in Tuscaloosa in 2020?
I mean,
or why does that not matter to you? Either question. Which one you want to say?
Well, I mean, he's in a different role now. He's a head coach now. He's not an offensive coordinator. If he was just an offensive coordinator, sure, good on you. That offense would probably be humming. But he's got 22 guys to manage now. Up to this point, he's not done that at a championship level. He's done it at we can compete for a conference championship, we can make the playoff level, but not at a winning titles level.
That level that you're talking about is like Mount Everest, though.
Well, there's teams that have gotten there. Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. Where Texas hasn't. Michigan got there.
Right, but when you climb Mount Everest, have you ever climbed Mount Everest?
I have.
I know last summer when you went, you remembered that you climb level 1, and then you had to get rid of you get used to the oxygen, then you go back down, then you got to go level 1 and level 2.
But Texas is a blue blood, Joe. They're used to
oxygen.
But they're used to it. They're a blue blood.
They haven't been up. They haven't been very high up lately. He's getting them used to the altitude. We're getting used to. We're making the climb. He's making the climb.
But they should be used to this if they're this blue blood of college football with this championship pedigree that they carry themselves with, and they think they're better than everyone else.
Well, when Charlie Strong and Tom Herman are leading your hikes up the mountain, then sometimes you get lost.
Tough scenes for you.
What's the one opposite Everest that's even scarier, even bigger?
Kilimanjaro?
I think so, but basically nobody climbs it.
Not very well versed.
Because it's even more dangerous. And people it's not as high, but it's even more dangerous, I think. Yeah, that's the mountain that Charlie Strong and Tom Herman led them up and off.
This is a good Texas team.
Yes, that's where we're at here.
This is a good team. There is serious question marks with this team, though.
There's one huge one. What do you want to start with? Because here's my rundown. The rundown was basically Texas overview. I feel like we kind of already just did that. You got transfer portal ads, schedule comparison from 24 to 25, strengths, weaknesses, and conclusion. So I feel like we just knocked out a little Texas overview, just bantering on them. Let's talk about their transfer portal ads. How about that? Because we talked last Thursday or last Wednesday, and that's really what started us on this distraction tour of Know Thy Enemy was their spending $35 to $40 million allegedly in the transfer portal, or not in the on the roster as a whole. The roster as a whole. And you look at,
and I've got 12 transfers. I think that's what they brought in here. I mean, what do we allocate? I mean,
defensive lineman transfer portal.
4 of them, 5 of them.
Big tight end, big wide receiver. I like this wide receiver. From
Stanford.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
From Stanford. I don't the Cal tight end. They say is gonna be pretty nice.
I think he is basically just the same player as Gunnar Helm.
Yes,
which Gunnar Helm was great.
He had a great.
He had a
really
world
good year.
beater. Not going to be the guy that is necessarily the difference maker. Just kind of going to be.
He's going to be the guy you forgot about. It's like, God dang it! Oh, Jack injuries again. It's like, oh, we covered it. We covered Ryan Wingo. We covered everybody else. Oh,
Here's
Jack injuries again.
18 yards up the middle.
Right. They dumped it off to injuries for 3 yards, and he rumbled for 15.
Yeah. Okay. That's going to be him.
He's going to be chip blocking, chipping on the end, helping the tackle, and there's a roll off the tackle, and it's going to be like, oop, Archman.
Yeah,
Peyton's going to join. Peyton and Eli are going to just burn in. Are just going to burn the check down into Arch Manning's brain.
I mean, we'll stick with the train. We'll get to Arch Manning later, but a lot of this, I don't know that it. I think a lot of people are talking a lot about Arch Manning, but I don't know that it necessarily is on his shoulders as much as people are throwing it on his shoulders.
No.
But with the transfer portal here, yeah. I mean, like you said, this money is being split across the entire roster, but you bring in 12 guys, and you have to imagine a large portion of that 35 to 40 million is being split among these 12 guys. All
right, so let's pause right there. We talked about 35 to 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get there? You got the revenue sharing that's coming up, and essentially that's about $20 million on all these athletic programs, and you got to think about what percentage you're spending on each program, and I'm sure that Texas is spending 60-80% of
much
that
as they possibly can on football.
Right. And so that's where you're coming in. These defensive linemen are all getting $500,000 to $800,000. Murad Watson from Syracuse, Levon Johnson from Maryland. You got Hiri Kanu from Ohio State, and one more, Travis Shaw from Notre Dame, North Carolina.
That's your big boy, 6'5", 330.
So they're all getting big money. What I'm reading in this in an athletic article, rebuttaling the Kirk Bowles report, not rebuttaling, but mostly confirming.
From Kurt Cignetti.
They're confirming Kirk Bowles originally wrote the 35 to 40 million.
Okay.
Cignetti confirmed it.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Cignetti also went out with that.
I got you. I'm with you.
But he basically said that the Texas boosters are so prideful that they said that money is not the reason they're losing anyone. That if you come into Texas and say, "Oh, school X is offering me X thousands of dollars to transfer," it's where's the dotted line? Match. And so you're reading in some of these athletic articles that I pulled up earlier today, right? Oh, I've closed 4 or 5 of them out already. Is that Texas boosters are paying the backups like starters? So great.
I mean, great for those players. I'm happy those guys are taking advantage of this system that has been set up this way so that they can take advantage of it. I'm glad that they are utilizing these stupid boosters who are spending their money irresponsibly. But this will not last. This is not something that you can sustain year after year after year.
No, it won't last at Texas, but it doesn't need to.
I guess if you win, it doesn't need to last. But boy, you throw this much money at a roster.
They say the monies are going to go way down next year because of this rev share. It's going to kind of like cool some things off.
I mean, I keep hearing people say that. I'm not. Is it though? The NIL is still there
because the way that I believe is that when Mason Woods wants to give money to Yay, Alabama, I think that I don't quite grasp it all, but I think that Mason Woods is going to have a business to where we're going to have to bring on Wilkin Formby and say, "This is the Joe Gaither Show," and we actually paid him the money to be on the show or to read the read or to read the like. I think they're eliminating the just, "Hey, I'm putting money in the athlete's pocket." I think there has to be. I think that part of this lawsuit is ensuring that there is a product, there is a business.
Interested to see how that gets enforced.
Of course, because it won't.
Yeah, I mean that is nothing more than, "Hey, buddy, we'll give you $3 million. You make an Instagram post," and then he goes on his Instagram, "Hey, I'm Jimmy John from Texas. I'm here playing this video game. You guys should play it too." And there we go. Now he's $3 million richer. Like I think it's near impossible to enforce anything like that. So the issue is still going to be, it's still just going to continue to be bidding wars between these top schools who have this NIL money behind them, but they will also get revenue share on top of it. So I don't know that it's really going to solve any issues like people think it might.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's going to continue to create, breaking away haves and have not, and eventually we'll get to.
Should have started with revenue sharing,
right?
We never had the NIL stuff.
That's exactly. We'll eventually
worms out or cat's out of the bag now.
Get to like a top 60, a league of 60 college football teams or so, and Alabama's going to be in it, so we'll be fine.
I mean, we see every year, and I love all of them. But everybody does their. If I were to, redo all of the college football landscape and do these different conferences, like some of the mock-ups I see a year, some of them are so good. We just need to separate the best of the best. And like you said, 50, 60 teams, and then we can divide them up, divisions, conferences, whatever you want to do.
Let Troy play for their own national championship. Troy and Alabama should not be playing
the same sport.
Exactly.
We talked about Eastern Illinois. They're not playing the same sport Alabama does when they line up on that field together.
All right, so Texas loses 12 players to the NFL draft. Texas.
Some notable names, too.
Yeah, big time players. Where's my list? Right there. Perfect. Ended up Kelvin Banks in the first round, Jahdae Barron in the first round, Matthew Golden in the first round, Alfred Collins, Andrew Makuba, Vernon Broughton, Gunnar Helm, Baron Sorrell, Jaden Blue, Cameron Williams, Hayden Connor, and Quinn Ewers.
All these NFL draft picks at premium positions, but nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for it. They made the
Did they get a big fancy trophy for making the playoff? Is Quinn Ewers going to tell his grandkids, "Hey, I made the playoff one day"?
I'll tell you, they got a Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl trophy for beating Arizona State.
Neat.
They got
for beating the worst team in the playoff.
They got some sort of recognition for beating Clemson at home in the college football playoff. They got some sort. They got monetary. You get extra money for your program.
Cool. Yeah, you ain't got no trophies. Nobody's going to remember Nobody remembers who made the playoff.
They
remember who won the playoff.
They've got the Red River Rivalry Trophy. Come on, man. It's not nothing. You made the SEC title game. You made the college football playoff.
And you lost both of them.
You won 2 playoff games.
That is nothing.
You're the Alabama
fan. Do NFL teams that go to the playoffs every year say, well, we won a playoff game?
Dang, I must be a terrible fan because, man, all right, we got there. We're on the way. You're the college football fan that I actively despise.
I hate Texas so much.
This is only about Texas for you. You're okay. Just
about Texas.
They're not champions, but they won some things.
I guess those things don't mean anything, though. Ask those players. Ask them if they're satisfied with how their season ended. You think they are? You think Quinn Ewers is going to say, "Well, man, we got that cool Peach Bowl trophy. Oh man, I think I'm pretty happy with how my Texas career ended."
He's probably not.
I don't think any of them are.
Kelvin Banks is first-round draft pick.
I'm pretty sure he'd probably still have a national championship.
All right, so you lose a bunch. Let's just start with the quarterback. You lost Quinn Ewers.
I think you're doing okay.
Are you? Yeah. Where are you at with Arch Manning? Because you've got a huge contingent that he is slam dunk number 1 overall pick, that he is greatest quarterback that's ever been quarterbacked ever.
There. I
think that you've got a lot of reason to be excited.
Sure. I'm at about a 7 out of 10 on Arch.
All
Manning.
right.
At about a 7 out of 10. And I think by the end of this season, that could easily be like an 8.5, 9. But right now, he's only played in 11 games. He has 2 starts to his name at Texas. He has not done a whole lot. I mean, what I know, I wrote down his stats: 11 appearances, 2 starts, 969 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. So I mean, solid, decent performances. But again, nothing overly impressive. He's a decent runner. I doubt that they're going to be asking him to run a whole lot. And he's definitely not going to be running a whole lot on his own accord. So I don't really know how much of an impact that's going to have.
He's going to do the Peyton Manning scramble for 4 yards and slide.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how much of an impact. I don't think he's going to be like a true dual threat kind of guy this year where there's a bunch of design runs and everything. They might sprinkle it in here and there, but I don't think that's going to be a huge part of his game that people have to worry about. Yeah. A 7 out of 10. I am cautiously optimistic. I think he definitely has the potential, and as a recruit, I was drooling over him, very excited. Well, whatever. But it's certainly cooled a bit.
People are pretty much some people are automatically crowning him best quarterback in the SEC. You've got Garrett Nussmeier, Lenore Sellers.
Those are just guys that have
Ty
done
Simpson,
it. Well.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe just throwing that out there.
DJ Lagway.
Right. Is the bar low enough to where Arch can just walk in? Is the SEC quarterback bar low enough right now? And I don't mean it's not good, but is it at a place where Arch can just say, hey, man, 2 games in, I'm the best quarterback in this league? I mean, because you're going to Ohio State first game of the year.
I think there's a pretty decent chance. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a good chance that that's potentially like the storyline. The kind of, Arch Manning, everybody's it's going to be leading ESPN, going to be leading First Take with, did you see Arch Manning this week? I think for anybody that really is like anybody that's really watching it is not going to overreact to 2 games. 2 games would be cool. And this Ohio State team is shaping up to be really, really good. You go out there and you throw for, 250, 300 yards, a couple touchdowns. We're feeling pretty good about Arch Manning. But there's still guys in the SEC that did it more. Lenore Sellers was great last year. DJ Lagway was good. Garrett Nussmeier was great last year. So I think I'll need to see it a little bit more. I do think, he certainly can make himself one of the top, 2-3 quarterbacks in the league by the end of the season. Just gonna have to see it.
So we started with the transfers a little bit and talked about the wide receiver from Stanford, the tight end from Cal. Just talking about the offensive guys. Mm-hmm. You've got Ryan Wingo. You've got good running backs. Trey Wisner is still back. Is still coming back. And what? CJ Baxter is still with you as well. I'm losing tracks on my tabs.
Back from getting hurt last year.
Yeah,
missed last season. I think I hurt like right before the year too.
So my point, and to tie this in, is you got all these skill guys. You got Arch. You're all excited, but I think the national media is not seeing the real question here. And okay, we're all excited about Arch. Woohoo, Arch Manning, stars and stripes and visions of touchdowns. We all love it. Unbelievable. Yep. Rocket passes.
Another Manning.
Right. We cannot believe it. Oh, media fodder. We're all falling all over ourselves. Yep. Headline Central. Great. What's the narrative? What happens? What do we do? What how does this season unfold if Arch Manning is on his back? Because Texas is only returning one starter on the offensive line. Let's move to the offensive line.
Look, this is like it feels like every year this happens in the NFL with a team that drafts a shiny new quarterback, and it's like, oh, we're going to be awesome.
Oh,
it's like your offensive line sucks. I know this feeling very well as a Titans fan. You know it very well as a Bears fan. That will kill any bit of talent you have at the quarterback position, a bad offensive line. Doesn't matter how good that quarterback is. If you can't keep him up, he can't do anything. So this is a massive, massive question mark for Texas. Yeah, one returning starter from last year, and it's an interior guy. I think I saw that he's probably going to be playing right or left guard.
Yeah, DJ Campbell, right guard. You're bringing back Trevor Gooseby at left tackle, and Cole Hudson, who both have experience. Trevor Goosby's supposedly going to be lining up at left tackle, has a little bit of experience, but is not a starter. Cole Hudson is projected to be starting at center, has some experience, but is not a starter. Very, very much kind of like Wilkin Formby type. Sure. Played little, but not so
got
sure.
Thrown in there when we needed him,
Right. And just like we're excited about Wilkin, and I think you should be. I'm not saying you should. Cool. There's obviously the question that maybe Wilkin doesn't step forward. I think he will. Same with Gooseby and Hudson. These guys from Texas. If you.
This will be the breaking point of this Texas team.
If Steve Sarkisian's calling, if he's calling screens all year long, and he loves his screens, but he's calling screens all year long because they can't protect anybody. He's just like, how many screens can I game plan? You got this wide receiver screen, that slot receiver screen, this running back screen, this tight end screen. We're just gonna smoke and mirrors.
He's gonna average 1.3 yards per attempt.
We're just gonna smoke and mirrors down the field.
I mean, you nailed it. I think that is exactly, that's where this Texas team begins and ends, is with this offensive line.
That would terrify me.
They have good running backs. They've got, I think, what look to be two decent receivers, three pretty good if you talk about the guy from Stanford.
I think
he's
gonna be good. I think he's solid.
But it just this offensive line. It is not going to be. Well, if Arch Manning plays great, Texas wins a title, because he could play awesome. But if this offensive line sucks, they're not winning anything.
Emmett Mosley is the transfer from Stanford last year as a freshman. 48 catches, 525 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Young man is 6'2", 190. True freshman at Stanford.
Has more yards than either of Texas's leading returners from last year. I think both of them had like 400 something last season. So,
So a bad offensive line doesn't. Now, it may not be bad. You're recruiting highly talented players. You are at Texas, and you're trying to develop them, just like you are at Alabama.
I was going to say, I think you've done a pretty good job at developing offensive linemen, so your track record is good there at Texas.
But if you got a bad offensive line, is Steve Sarkisian getting fired? Or has this Texas program at least moved itself to a place of we're past the emotional child state of you didn't win a championship, you're getting fired?
I don't think they're there.
Because we saw it with Tom Herman and Charlie Strong. Like, oh, you lost to Oklahoma this week, you're fired. I mean, took a little more than that, but it was very emotional. I'm wondering if at least the Texas fan base has been like, okay, Sark is our guy. If we just get behind him, eventually it's going to be there. Eventually it's going to crack. That egg's going to crack.
I don't think that I wouldn't trust the Texas fan base to be there. Not me. I would not hedge my bet that the Texas fan base feels that way. I think if you're looking at a season with 3, 4, 5 losses, 3 you probably be okay.
There's no
3
way
you're
they're losing
saving
that many.
3, 4, 5. I mean, you got a terrible offensive line. I haven't looked at the schedule, but
That's the next thing we're doing.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily championship or bust for Sark keeping his job. I think if they make a playoff, if they make a run, if they win 2, 3 games, maybe make it to the title game and lose, he's probably sticking around for another year. But if you miss the playoff or something, yeah, I think they're firing him.
I think that offensive line is a pretty big question.
Yeah, I mean, you're only. I was looking. They only return, and take this with a grain of salt because you mentioned you lost Quinn Ewers, Matthew Golden, Gunnar Helm. You lost all these leading guys from last year, so but you're only returning 45% of offensive production last season. So you're having to replace so much on the offense. Ugh, I think that's not even mentioning the line.
I think Ryan Wingo is pretty nice.
I like these receivers. I watched a very brief, kind of cut up on YouTube of I think not Wingo, but the other guy, DeAndre Moore. And they look pretty solid. Moore's the one that's a little smaller. Wingo's the bigger, taller. I think he's like 6'2", I think.
Maybe I'm just too enamored with Steve Sarkisian's offensive mind, and maybe I'm too enamored.
Look, that's going to bail you out in a lot of situations.
But I think he's going to
not going to bail you out from having a bad line.
If the line is below average, he's going to have a lot of work to do to move the football down the field. I do think that Sark can do that because I think he's a genius. But I think if he's having to overcome that handicap, he's going to be pulling teeth all year long. And Arch Manning will return for another year. That's one thing that I think a lot of people are missing as well. The national media is all going, Arch is going to have a great year and be the number 1 pick, blah, 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 blah. And he might be.
Sure.
But I think there's just as much possibility that he has a great year and the Mannings say, we ain't going to the league.
Yep. We don't like who's got that top pick.
That or just the simple fact of you haven't graduated college yet, sonny boy. Just like Eli, just like Peyton.
They are like that. Also, I mean, to sit here and act like Texas isn't going to offer him just an entire oil field at his disposal, probably.
Bukus of money to stay. I think there's a very good chance that he just says, I'm just going to rock 2 more years at Texas.
That's what I'd do, man.
Yes, I would as well.
I'd stay as long as I could, and then I'd enter the supplemental draft.
All right,
I'd pick my team.
Let's flip to the defense just real quick because I think the defense
is going to be nasty. Now, I'm still, firmly in the camp of I'll really believe it when I see it this year. Texas having an elite defense, but I do think they will be pretty good. They lost a lot, but the guys that they are bringing back are dogs.
I just think that I'm terrified of Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons. I'm terrified of them.
Yeah.
The duo, if I were a tackle or guard, and that's why I'm not, I would be all terrified.
I'd be sitting at this ball snaps. I'm sitting down on the ground, crisscross apples. Go ahead, buddy.
Sitting in the middle of the ring, just
fetal position, don't hurt me. Hands over my face.
I think Colin Simmons is going to be an absolute animal this year off the edge for Texas. He was last year as a freshman. Where's my tab with all the stats? Right there. Defense. Scroll down, Joseph.
They're both going to be. We're going to get 2 double-digit sack guys for Texas this year.
Well, homeboy had 9 as a freshman,
and Anthony Hill had 8 last year.
It
seems like they probably will. I'm thinking probably 12 and 13, 11 somewhere around there. If not more.
And that's just enough to speed any quarterback up. That's enough to, 1, 2, 3 hitch. No, 1, 2 hitch. Up. I yank my throw a little bit.
What's
pull
Wilkin
my throw.
Going to do against these guys? I like Wilkin, but man, I don't know.
Colin Simmons is a train killer.
And then, secondary brings back some. I know you lose Jahdae Barron, but you bring back some guys who are good. Michael Taft, comes back for runs it back for his senior year.
Malik Muhammad.
Sure everybody loves it. Yeah, Malik Muhammad, talented player. Oh, good defense. Good defense. You're replacing a lot up front. You lose. Now I'm blanking on names.
Trevondre Sweat,
Alfred Collins, Vernon Broughton. Yeah, Trevondre Sweat 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
He's Titan. I love Trevondre Sweat.
Tighten up.
But yeah, again, talking about returning production, you're returning 61% of last year's production on defense. So you're looking pretty good from that standpoint. this is, I said earlier, like it's not all going to rely on Arch Manning. Like this defense is going to bail them out of a lot of bad situations. Very likely.
So I go to the Texas pages and look for like biggest question mark, that sort of thing. And these jokers, like a lot of the articles were not about the offensive line. They're all about this gap at tight end. And I'm like, guys, that's not like, yeah, you want a tight end. And
Sure.
you saw Alabama go out and get tight ends. But
Sky Entries was good at Cal last year. He had 56 catches, 600 yards, 2 touchdowns last season. I know it's at Cal, but still.
So if I'm a Texas fan, I'm counting on my defense to give the offensive line a bit of a runway to say, hey guys, y'all got to go figure it out. Now the problem is and here's where we'll turn, and here's where we'll start to land the plane with Texas, is the schedule is much more difficult than last year, in my opinion. And it starts right off the bat at Ohio State. You went to Michigan last year after everybody and their mother departed, except for they left Sharon Moore behind. you got to stay with the sinking ship. You go all right. So just real quick, last year's schedule. We'll fly through this real quick. Flip. It's Colorado State at home, at Michigan, UTSA, ULM. You're at home with Mississippi State. You're neutral with Oklahoma. At home with Georgia. On the road to Vanderbilt. At home with Florida. On the road to Arkansas. Great. Home with Kentucky. On the road to Texas A&M, and then you get into the postseason.
Boy, that was a soft schedule.
Yeah, all these the road games last year were baby butt soft.
Texas A&M is your only good one.
And how far away is Austin from College Station? So you're not really going that far. 2025 gets a little interesting at Ohio State.
Are we getting game of the year week 1?
Maybe.
Golly, the revenge game, the rematch from the playoff. You get Texas, Ohio State, Julian Sayin, Arch Manning, both making their first, not first, but you know what I mean. Basically, their first. Arch Manning really being his first as the guy. Oh man, the storylines here for this guy. I'm sure game day will be there.
Caleb Downs picking off Arch Manning.
That's yeah. I really dislike both of these teams very, very much. That's gonna be one that I just have to hate watch on my couch that Saturday, and I'll do it gracefully.
Just gonna fly through at Ohio State, home with San Jose State, home with the UTEP Miners, home with Sam Houston Bearcats. So we're at least setting up 3-1. Sorry, great job. we are going on the road. Give you a lot of credit for that, but we come back for three stinkers. All right, off. Then we're at Florida. All right, finally, you welcome to the SEC officially, probably at Florida. Then neutral with Oklahoma, of course. At Kentucky, okay. At Mississippi State. Home with Vanderbilt. At Georgia. Home with Arkansas. Home with Texas A&M. So at least you're at Georgia and you're at Florida this year for your SEC schedule. Obviously at Kentucky and Mississippi State as well. But I think a significant step up from last season.
Golly, are you kidding me? Absolutely. I mean, Florida and Georgia, yes. Mississippi State, we'll see what Mississippi State is this year.
Terrible.
Probably
not good.
Probably, yes. But those cowbells, you never know what's happening there. They get rocking. That's not a fun place to play. I've never had the misfortune of going there personally, but I've never heard a good thing about it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule. You get the relatively early game against Florida here before they've probably fallen off a cliff yet. At this point, it usually happens around week 8 or so when Florida starts to so you're still getting Florida like their full strength probably. Oh man, yeah, no.
You're talking about a trap game. Does Texas fall into a trap at Florida, overlooking them because they have Oklahoma the next week?
That's very possibly. This is a good Florida team, and that might just have to be my pick for next week. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Gators.
It might have to lock that one. Yeah,
I like that. That's good. That's good.
The way to go. But I mean,
dun 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 dun. That's Florida, right? Dun 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 dun.
there's at least 2 losses on this schedule, probably. I mean, I think I don't know. Maybe you can give them. Maybe you can give them toss-ups for Florida and Georgia and Ohio, but if we're gonna just take the 3 hardest road games on this schedule, I don't think it's all that likely that you win 2 out of 3 there.
Yeah, I think that you're splitting some fashion of Ohio State, Florida, Oklahoma, Georgia. Yeah, I think you're splitting some fashion of those 4.
Yeah.
You're probably winning the rest, and you're hoping to
10-2 is, I guess, what you're hoping for.
Right. Yeah, you're hoping for 10-2, and you're hoping to probably win. You're probably hoping that those 2 are not both at Florida and at Georgia.
Yeah.
You're probably hoping that it's at Ohio State and either Florida or Georgia, and that keeps you in an SEC title picture. If you lose to Ohio State in the first week, it's fine as long as you don't get blown out. If you stay within 14, if you stay within 17, I think you're still fine.
Everybody else,
especially on the road.
By the end of the year.
Right. You go through and spank the rest of the schedule. By the end of the year, they're going to be, oh, it's fine. They got so much better. Look how improved they were.
Sure.
But I do want to, at least acknowledge that the schedule is much like last year's schedule. Okay, you guys are listening and you're like, oh, Joe, you love Texas so much. Okay, a little, but the schedule was baby butt soft last year.
Soft.
Not fair. Not fair.
No,
not a proper welcome, in my opinion, to the SEC.
No.
Your first SEC road game is at Vanderbilt,
and they almost lost.
Yes. Oh gosh. So Texas Longhorns. We'll see what they do this year. I think
I'm gonna lock in 9-3.
I think 10-2 feels good. I think 10-2 feels real good to me.
I'll say 9-3. You're losing to Ohio State, Georgia, and Oklahoma.
Ooh, gonna be a lot of fun. All right, next week you picking Florida?
I think I like that. Yeah, let's go with Florida next week. They seem like a fun team to talk about. We can get into the Gators.
The fighting Billy Napiers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next week, know thy enemy will be the Florida Gators. You guys can call and talk about the Florida Gators at 205-462-7340, extension 800. If you want to comment on what we commented on Texas, you can comment right there as well on the voicemail line at Joe Gaither 6 at MA Woods_. Mason, let me hit an ad, and let's finish with one more topic here.
So my name is Russ Warren, and I'm one of the owners here at Warren Tire. We started in 1961. My granddad on University Boulevard, so we've been kind of a staple here in the Tuscaloosa and the University of Alabama community since then. And so thankful to be in the 3rd generation. And we have 2 locations now in Tuscaloosa. We're right here at the 15th Street location right now, where we just do tires, brakes, and alignments mostly here. Our university location does oil changes, engine work, air conditioning work, front end work, the whole 9 yards. And so any of our 2 locations, you can come check us out.
We appreciate Warren Tire and Auto for sponsoring the program. Go see them today for all your automotive needs. Mason walked out of the studio yesterday. You ended the program with some news, with the news of Notre Dame and Clemson meeting together for agreeing to a 12-year deal. And I just glossed right over it. We talked about it for about half a second, just acknowledging it. But as we left, I thought to myself, man, there's a lot of juice right there. If this sets a precedent, now, obviously, before we go into the conversation, this is because of Notre Dame's relationship with the ACC and trying to game the system. They're trying to game the system and not be scheduled with, Boston colleges, because it hurts their, strength of schedule. They're trying to get scheduled with the better halves of the ACC for their, 5 ACC games a year?
Trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Yes,
and
exactly.
they're doing it
because they're Notre Dame.
And I
don't have any issue with that.
I get,
blue blood, baby.
I think it's lame, but I'm never gonna, I guess, be mad at someone for using the system that is at their disposal. It's just like these players that are bouncing around school to school to get more and more money. I'm not necessarily mad at these kids for doing it. It's the system for allowing them to do it.
All right, so over the last 5-7 years or so, Greg Byrne has been on a kick of let's add better home and home games. Let's do home and home series. We're really kind of in the very first parts of that with the Texas series, the South Florida series, and now the Wisconsin series, and opening up this year the Florida State series. You got a lot of great home and home series on deck. Hopefully, they all stay on deck. Please, college football, do not cancel those games. Greg Byrne and the other athletic directors, do not cancel those games. We need Alabama, Ohio State. We need Alabama, Notre Dame. We need Alabama, USC. We need those matchups. Please do not cancel those in favor of Alabama, Eastern Illinois. So I want to give Greg a lot of credit right off the bat. But let's imagine that this sets a precedent. Let's kind of ignore the relationship between the Notre Dame and the ACC. Let's just say that Notre Dame really just wanted to beef up their schedule for the next 12 years and get a quality opponent. And honestly, I think this is brilliant. We're sitting here praising Greg Byrne, I think appropriately, for these great home and homes. But how much fun did you, the Alabama fan, have in Wisconsin last year? I know that I had it was one of the best weekends of the year.
I've always heard such good things about Madison, Wisconsin.
And it was a work trip, work in quotations. And yes, I wrote for BamaCentral.com, but it was like, I've never been to Wisconsin before, so it was a little bit of like I've never experienced this. It was a beautiful place. The food was great. The people, that was the kicker. Yes, Wisconsin people were nice. They were so nice. They were so kind. That's some seriousness, not Green Bay Packers stuff. They were so kind, and it made the experience incredible. And the stadium was great, and just everything.
Jump around,
right? So I just thought to myself, how great would it be to do a 6 to 8 year series with a team like a Wisconsin? And I come back home this year and tell Mason Woods and everybody, oh, Wisconsin was so great. And now, instead of Mason and the Alabama fans that didn't go thinking, man, I missed out. Man, I should have gone. They're planning the next trip and the next time. And so you got 3 trips to Wisconsin over a 6-year period, and they got 3 trips down here. Now they're coming down here. It's going to be great. I hope that you, the Alabama fan, I'm sure you will, host them beautifully. I'm positive of that. And they're going to have a great time except for losing. But they're used to that. Exactly. So just further this concept. If you could be Greg Byrne, if you could be the powers that be in the college football world, and you could set up, I think 12 is a little too far, too many years, 6 and 6, 6 home games and 6 road games. But I get it why Notre Dame and Clemson are doing it.
I like 6 years.
I think a 6 to 8 year contract is like the right length. 3 road games, 3 home games, or 4 road games, 4 home games over the course of a decade. I think it'd just be brilliant. I mean, and maybe this is just, you're reading your own tea leaves, Joe, reading your own press clippings, but to me, I don't see what the issue is, and I think it would be an additive. I've got about 6, 7, 8 programs in my brain that Alabama needs to lock in a 6-year deal with today.
I'm thinking of 3 right now.
Who would you want to see?
They're not necessarily the most.
It's fine.
Impressive teams.
They're your choices.
I would like to see Virginia Tech.
Okay,
Virginia
why?
Tech will be. I just love Virginia Tech.
Cool.
Always have. I've just always like. I remember watching.
Go
Mike
up there
Vick,
for
Mike
Enter Sandman.
Taylor,
Can we get one of them on a Thursday night? That'd be cool.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just for some reason I've always really liked Virginia Tech. I think it goes back to Alabama playing them in those kickoff games and them busting out those like really cool uniforms that one year and me being enamored by it. Liked them ever since. Virginia Tech will be cool. I'd like to see maybe UCLA. Give me a California team. Really, any of them. UCLA, Stanford, Cal, any of those. But I think UCLA just for the uniforms, bring them over.
That'd be a great uniform matchup.
It'd be
that
beautiful.
baby blue against the Alabama Crimson.
Give me that all day. And then the third one, another one that I'm really just kind of basing off of uniforms here because I think I'd like to see the uniform matchup. But Oklahoma State, give me the orange and black versus the red and white. Give me Pistol Pete on the sideline. I'd like to see that.
I would love
Mike Gundy, the Arkansas waterfall. I'd love it.
I'd like to go see. Was it Boone Pickens Stadium? Because they say
yeah.
it's super, super nice because that man put a bunch of – now, that was many years ago, but that man –
They've let him do whatever he wants there.
Exactly. So I've got how many on my list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 7 that I wrote down.
Yeah, I'll think of some other ones while you rattle some off.
Penn State, you got to lock in one with Penn State for the history in the 80s and just the uniform matchup and just everything about it. I loved the 2010 and 2011
awesome.
series. Just give me 3 trips to Happy Valley, please. Then we got to go real historic and bring Georgia Tech series, Georgia Tech or Tulane for the same for the same exact reason.
Give me Tulane. I need to see those uniforms.
Exactly, same exact reasons. Old SEC teams, close travel, easy travel, trip to Atlanta or trip to New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Both you can sell me on, and then you have just the historic factor. We used to play each other every year. Yeah. I'm in on Georgia Tech or Tulane as 6-year options.
That'd be awesome.
I've got then my blue blood love USC and Notre Dame are both on my list just for the branding. God.
The Alabama Notre
Greg,
Dame
if you only have to keep one of these non-conference futures, keep the Notre Dame one, Greg, please, Mr. Greg, please.
I love stomping Notre Dame,
please. And then lastly, I have Miami and Florida State as as 2 other picks. Miami just for the 92 factor and just everybody thinks about them so much. And Florida State, you got ties to Florida State. It makes me think about 2007 losing to them, and then 2017 beating Florida State. I think that those 2 are I was trying to think higher end programs, easier travel, marquee destinations. I think the Alabama fans are really going to enjoy Doak Campbell Stadium. I've never been there. I look forward so much to being there. The people I've talked to that have been there say it is a very beautiful stadium. Maybe not modern, but beautiful. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Those are my 7. Penn State, Georgia Tech, Tulane, USC, Notre Dame, Miami, and Florida State. Greg Byrne, can we lock in a 6 to 8 year deal with them? You can go 3-3, and it just be you can not worry about the schedules as much. You can have marquee opponents. You can get to know the restaurants in those areas. You can see the sites and tours. Oh, we didn't see that memorial the last time we were there. We want to go to that museum next time we're here. I just think this could be a very positive thing or something that catches on for college football.
Yeah, I would like to see this very much. I'm just trying to think. Hey, Colorado. Give me a Colorado one. Let's bring Dion to town.
Rocky Mountain High.
Utah would be fun. Utah has kind of fallen off a little bit. Not quite what they were.
If Nick Saban were here, West Virginia would be the move.
Oh, yeah. West Virginia would be a great one.
I saw we got one commenter, Hunter Brantley, and this is a great suggestion. Says Washington for Kalen DeBoer.
Oh, I would like that as well. Yeah.
So you can really go down the Kalen DeBoer path and take anybody. You want to go Washington, Fresno
Oregon.
State, Indiana. Sorry, Sioux Falls. You don't qualify.
You don't qualify. Indiana would be good though. I'd like beat up on Clemson-Notre Dame a little bit.
You got a lot of ties from the staff with Indiana.
Yeah, that would be good.
Ballou was at Indiana. Kane Womack was at Indiana. A lot of ties from the staff with Indiana.
Maybe I'd like to see North Carolina. North Carolina would be a good one again for the uniforms, but the crimson and the Carolina blue together on the field would be gorgeous. I'm not sure if let me think.
I still have that sounder in here.
Oh, how I miss you.
Him and his girlfriend just met on a plane. It was totally normal.
They just got rid of you. Oh,
Bill Belichick.
How you feeling if you're a North Carolina fan right now?
Amazing.
Are you?
Why wouldn't you?
I'd be a little concerned.
Why?
With just this whole situation. And what's going to be the end?
I'm asking you, the North Carolina fan, what do you expect from your football program?
I mean, Bill Belichick's here. I expect pretty good results.
Old man wash Bill Belichick. Now, and I'll continue this question. Why would you expect good result? Like, you've been okay with mediocre for a long time.
Sure.
So what's the problem? You got a lot of notoriety.
I guess it's more the pointing and laughing that's happening at kind of the situation, and you being the center of it as North Carolina.
Hey, patience is a virtue. Who's going to be pointing and laughing when we're 8-5 again?
Probably everybody still.
Who's going to be pointing and laughing when we're 8-5, upsetting Clemson and knocking them out of the college football playoff?
Great. And give me Clemson on this list of teams.
That's right.
Yeah, give me Clemson. That'd be good. Oh man, there's so many good teams. Duke would be a fun one.
Why Duke though? There's nothing fun about them.
Uniforms, really. It's just the red and blue. It's very visually appealing to see the stark contrast on the field together.
You'd rather just play Kentucky.
I'm playing this game, or I'm doing this like solely from uniform matches.
That's fine.
Honestly.
That's fine.
I'm just thinking of my TCU. Oh, that'd be a good one.
Dallas, 3 trips to Dallas.
Oh,
you better believe I'm in on that.
Yeah,
SMU.
That'd be sweet.
SMU better, but like I'm thinking destinations. I'm thinking brands. I'm thinking historical ties. Like, I think there's something here. We need
like a Iowa.
For Caden Proctor.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Just now he's already going to be gone, but I mean, I think that Greg, this is the future. Keep every contract in place. Don't rip up any contract, but the next sets of contracts, I guess it's going to be what, 2033 or so, 34-5 is kind of your next openings that he has. And obviously you're probably not scheduling anything in 2033, 34, 35 right now because of the changing landscape. You're probably holding off on any scheduling, but I would keep this in the back of my brain. Like, I love the 2-for-1 that you got with South Florida. Like, that's cool. That's great. That's great. Anything's better than these daggum Mercers.
How about BYU?
No.
You don't want BYU? You probably lose. You might lose.
They're going to be really good.
Yeah, you might lose that one.
I saw John Rothstein's flipping sports real quick, going BYU should expect a Final Four or bust next year. I was like, daggum.
Oh man! Nebraska?
I'd be in on Nebraska. Yes,
history.
I would be. I would love that. Now that'd be that would be a tough ass ticket to get in Nebraska because those people are insane.
Yeah, that'd be a tough
Speaking
one.
of Nebraska, they were in Omaha. Monday Night Raw was in Omaha this weekend. Dylan Raiola and Matt Rule were in the front row.
That's funny. Patrick Mahomes and Matt Rule.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Give me Hawaii. Let's make a trip to Hawaii. You know what? That'd be cool. Hey, the Rainbow Warriors.
September trip to Hawaii. Actually, no, we needed to make them the November game in between in between Oklahoma and Auburn. It's like, hey guys.
Oh yeah, you spend. That'd be great. That's what they need.
If you beat Hawaii, then you come back and you lose the Iron Bowl. The Alabama fans would lose their. Oh my gosh, they would. Not just the national media would run with that. They would take that so far. They would be. Okay, on the board. I'm chilling on the beach in Hawaii. I'm not working for the Iron. You would just be talking head central,
man.
And I'd be here for it. I'd be like, y'all are all fools. Sometimes you lose a game. It just happens. But they would make it a whole thing. If you didn't go to Hawaii, if you'd have just stayed home.
Golly, I can't even. It'd be. Oh, it'd be so bad. It'd be so bad. I can hear the radio callers now. Well, if he wasn't busy sitting on the damn beach, he could have beat Auburn.
Why are we scheduling these games in Hawaii anyway?
Give me Louisville. Louisville would be a good one, maybe.
Jeff Brom.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that. I'm running thin on some.
You're good. I'm out of juice on this.
Yeah.
I just think it's a great idea.
There is so many though that I would love to see.
Because I do think these home and homes are amazing and like a much more improved, a big improvement off of the neutral site games. Like those were fun when we had them. They were, and I think Nick Saban, you're on the forefront with that. Great stuff. But getting back to college campuses brings back the heart of the sport, and
I think it's very good for a time where it feels like the heart of the sport. We're losing it. Like this is the perfect time to get away from these kickoff games and get them back onto campuses, like you're saying.
So maybe it will become a trend to lock in extended contracts with opponents. I would love that. And I'm sure that there's something that I'm missing, that there's some simple element to this that I'm missing, that Greg Byrne, when he listens to this, would be like, Joe, you're not thinking about this that I have to deal with. And Greg, I apologize, seriously. But think about it.
I'm replacing UCLA on my original list with Michigan State.
For the Nick Saban aspect.
For the Nick Saban aspect, and also just I think that would be a better uniform matchup. You know, the red and the green. Getting to go up to East Lansing, I think would be good. Oh yeah, I would like that one.
I love it. I think it's a great idea. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Spartans.
You guys can let us know who you would like to see at Alabama. This is obviously hypothetical. Schedule a 6 to 8 year contract agreement with. We think it would be a lot of fun. And I think that athletic director Greg Byrne, you should see the news yesterday and think, oh, how can we do that ourselves? We had a lot of fun today on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. We talked about Texas. Next week will be Florida. Know thy enemy, the Florida Gators, next week. And we'll do this each Wednesday until the college football season begins. We'll look at SEC teams and Alabama opponents. Know thy enemy every Wednesday on the Joe Gaither Show for the next several weeks. We had a lot of fun with you. Leave us a comment, question, query, or complaint at Joe Gaither 6 on your social media machines, at Bama Central, at MA Woods. Mason forwards all the complaints onto me. He keeps the compliments for himself. And so put your comments right there. You can leave us voicemail at 205-462-7340, extension 800. You can subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, and we will talk to you. We missed Katie last week. We hope to have her tomorrow. They're in the middle of the SEC tournament. I don't know. She's very busy with the SEC tournament. I will check in with her today to see if we will have her. She was doing some family stuff last week, and we applaud that. So we will see if we will have Katie tomorrow. If we do, the show will be a whole lot smarter. And if we don't, we'll have a lot of fun anyway. So we'll talk to you tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.